Welcome back to the 9 to 5 Vibe. I am your host, Emily Korkowski-Dvorak, and this week's episode is law. And we have the perfect guest for that. We have our very own pre-law advisor, Kemi Dosunmu, and she's going to be telling you all about law. If you're interested in it, if you're already interested in getting all into it, we'll talk through it. So, Kemi, thank you for being here, first of all.
Of course.
Awesome. Okay, so basically, you are the pre-law advisor for the WCCPE. Now, not only are you a pre-law advisor, girl, you're an attorney.
So I've heard.
So what about law drew you in?
Okay, so I was one of those kids that was literally the first thing I ever thought I wanted to do. I don't have a memory of wanting to do anything before that, and I can trace that back to being at least 11. I don't know why. I think it was the judge thing that eventually I wanted to be a judge. So you go to be an attorney first, just like watching courtroom shows.
Amen.
So that's what drew me in, probably before your time, but Law and Order. I mean, not Law and Order. Sorry, LA Law.
Oh dang, yeah.
I was a little girl, but still. Yeah.
That's fine. Amen to that, though. Honestly, those are good shows to watch and really can inspire real career aspirations. So, as we have both said, you are an attorney. So, can you talk about your experience when it comes to taking the LSAT and then going on to law school? What was that like?
So the LSAT, as a student who was a pretty good student at that time, was definitely something that was more difficult than I expected it to be. When you tend to do well, you think it can't be as big a deal as people make it. And then when you sit down to take it, and also a lot of people are like, oh, I love logic games. I hear about logic games, like the little books that you find in the grocery store.
Guilty.
Yeah, those are fun, right? But when you sit down and open the LSAT book, you realize, so to learn how to study specifically for that test was a little bit of you actually have to give it its own time, because it's not a core subject-based test. It's not similar to other standardized tests that you take.
Mm-hmm.
So taking the time, whether you're going to do a prep course, whether you're going to do self-study, whether you're going to do some kind of hybrid option, but taking the time to learn the material is really the only way. There's no way to cheat the LSAT.
Yeah. And what about your experience in law school? Because you did get in.
So law school was also very different. Your first year is pretty much a culture shock. Again, no matter how much you've heard about it, if you've been a successful student, you just mentally don't think that it's going to be that different. And it is that different. So the thing that makes law school different from undergraduate studies is that you don't have quizzes, you don't have midterms, you don't have papers. Let me say, for most first year law students, there are some programs that run it a little different, but traditionally it had always been this way. Your grades first year are based off of one final exam per class at the end of the semester. So you have to learn how to retain everything from day one to day end of the semester and be able to be tested on that, right? And so most people kind of take classes by segments. So, okay, cool. I'll have this ready for the test, or this ready for the quiz, or, for the paper. But there's no ability to do that. And so first year of law school is pretty stressful. But after your first year, and you get assigned courses your first year, so everybody is taking the same courses. And that's pretty standard across the country too. But after your first year, you do get the option to choose courses. Mm-hmm. So you may have more traditional courses, like courses that you took in undergrad your second year. And your third year, you probably have all traditional courses. There probably aren't many courses you would be taking your third year that are graded that way. So once you get past your first year, you're good to go. The first year is a big adjustment.
And one of those words okay, maybe I'm not cut out for this, or maybe I am.
You have to kind of think do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna do this. Then you gotta buckle down and tune out the outside world. You really have to tune out the outside world your first year of law school. It's crazy.
Oh, God. Well, speaking of crazy, we're going to play a crazy fun game.
Okay.
As cheesy as that sounded. This is the best part of the podcast. Are you ready? Okay, so this is our game, Hired or Fired.
Okay.
Basically, I'll give you a statement or like a description of something, and if it's good, you say hired. If it's bad, you say fired. For example, if I say an elevator pitch that's over a minute, you would say
fired.
Yeah, and it's a rapid fire. Don't need to think about it. Just first thing you think of, hired or fired. Are you ready? Okay, cue dramatic music. Not researching the company you're interviewing for.
Oh, fired. Law firms do totally different things. So if you have no idea if the firm does immigration law or banking or employment law,
you got to look into that.
About that in the interview. You're not going to do that. Noted.
Okay, not studying for the LSAT.
Oh, well, fired. You're going to fire yourself, so no one's going to do it for you. That'll be it.
Okay, and then this is the decider. Country music. Honesty is the best policy here.
I'm going to say higher. It's not like my top genre, but I can go with it.
Okay.
I can go with it. Country, I mean, there are different types of country music, obviously, but a lot of country music has soul to it. And so
Touché.
If it has soul to it, I'm good.
But not like the poppy.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
No.
Whew, okay. I thought we might be opposing sides there for a second. Okay. Well, thank you for playing. And we'll get back to actually the nitty-gritty of this interview. Okay, so given your law school experience, what is something you wish someone would have told you when you started out?
So I will say there probably isn't anything that I wasn't told, just because I went to school on a campus that had a law school. So our pre-law society would often get to hear from law students like consistently. And they pretty much told us everything. It's just a matter of what you listen to. And so the thing that I would probably say, it's not that I wasn't told it, because I was, but the thing that I would have internalized more was that you pretty much have to seclude and turn the outside world off your first. That didn't really sound realistic, but
yeah, you gotta buckle down.
Yeah.
You gotta focus.
Yeah.
I honestly, that sounds like something that I feel like a lot of people could also just take in as well. Yeah. Okay. So what would you say are your top 3 tips for students who are at least considering going into some law path?
Okay. So I think the first thing, and kind of to me the thing that you can control the most, is to do well in school. Grades definitely matter. It is harder to make up for not so good grades towards the end of your academic career than it is to kind of just make sure that you're doing what you need to do, taking advantage of tutoring, etc., to have that all the way through. So no matter what you end up doing, you'll already have that part taken care of. Like, that's not a concern you have to worry about.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing is for law students specifically to give the LSAT the reverence that it requires and deserves, because again, it's not something that you've experienced yet. And so if you don't take the time to go through and learn how to conquer the test, you're not going to get the score that you want, right? And you're going to end up settling. So it's not something that you just want to, like, at the last minute decide, oh, I need to take the LSAT, without having given it a couple months of studying.
Yeah.
And then the third thing, and this is for law students, but for college students in general, is to take advantage of all that college life has to offer. You will never get this time to be a college student again. Do things, go to programming, join things, apply for things, step out of your box. And in the end, you may find that some opportunity that you just did on a whim or got involved in on a whim is something that you're going to be able to talk about as this great experience in your personal statement. But if you never do anything, then you're in my office the beginning of your senior year, like, I don't know what to write about. I don't have anything to write about. So take advantage of like all of the different things that are offered to you while you're here.
Yes, honestly, that's, I think, for any student, even if they're not considering law, get out of your comfort zone. As two people who are definitely not in college anymore, please take advantage of this time.
Like, don't just think of it as go to class and go home, or go to class and go back to the dorms. Like, do it all as much as you can.
Yes, and take advantage of on-campus resources, aka, I don't know, a pre-law advisor who could give you amazing advice on how to go on this path of a career in law. I don't know, just throwing things out there. Well, thank you for being here. Do you have any last-minute advice you want to give out to our lovely followers and viewers?
I think sort of similar to what you just said. We have a whole office here. We do programming all year. So there's no reason for you to come at the last minute and say, well, I think I want to go to law school, but like, I don't know what that entails. We help you get started from the beginning of what you should be doing. Like, we have programs about every aspect of the application process. We bring law schools to campus. So, you know, take advantage of what we offer, come to our programs, but also schedule a one-on-one advising appointment so we can specifically talk about you and where you are and how to make you.
Amen to that. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you want to continue seeing some pretty cool episodes, if I do say so myself, you can check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, all the social medias. We post every other Friday. Thank you so much for being here. And remember to keep the 9 to 5 vibe alive. And we will see you in the next one.